We love them. Let's bring them on. Here comes Jared Padalecki and Jensen Ackles. Good morning. Good morning, Berg. The Berg. Do we call it the Berg? Da Berg?
Da Berg, is that true?
The Berg.
Is this like when you go to a foreign country and people tell you to say something and then you say it and probably get beat up? Right. Just go to a bar and call it Da Berg, I promise.
I swear the tattoo artist said this. No? It's better, I guess, than DePitt.
Or even better than DePitts.
DePitts.
That'd be even more difficult.
That's, yeah.
Hi, guys.
It's good to be, I love Pittsburgh. I got to spend a few months here years ago doing a movie here, and I had a great time. This is a good town. And like, half of you are like, I'm not even from here. I don't, But those of you that are from here, I'm a fan of the town.
Who are the locals?
Okay, so there's 3 of you. That's great. How was last night?
I heard there was a pretty cool special guest.
What?
It wasn't Jensen.
I was here, in spirit. Wait, who was the guest? Who? Justin Timberlake? I miss JT.
JG, man. JG up there with J.
Ah, JG.
Badass. Wow.
Cool.
It's hard to leave the family. Like,
Yeah, you just brought him with you.
Yeah, do you know what that takes?
What is wrong with you? I get one chance this summer to go sleep in a hotel room without Daddy like pulling on my beard. I'm gonna take it. Just kidding.
Yeah, I thought I was gonna take it. I got in last night, went to the hotel. He and I just grabbed something in the hotel to eat, and then I was like, all right, I'm off to bed. Like, I don't get this. I haven't gotten this in a while, so I'm gonna go to bed. What did I do? Went down the YouTube rabbit hole for like hours. And I looked over at the clock. I'm laying there in bed, should be asleep. Why am I not asleep? Because this stupid phone in front of me. We're all susceptible. It happens.
So I'm a UFC fan. Anybody here watch mixed martial arts? Not a big deal. So I walk to the nearest place that's showing the card, and it's not even over yet, but it's like 12:30. I'm like, I gotta get to bed. So I start walking home, and it's Pride Week, which I love. And I notice as I'm walking home, I see this very handsome African-American man clearly like eyeballing me. And I have my headphones in, and I kind of can see the corner of my eye, this guy like staring at me. Like, hey, it's Pride Week. And I look over and it's Christian. And I'm like, what's up, man? And I look, it's like Rob Benedict and Richard Spade and Alex.
You looked over and it was Christian, and you thought to yourself, oh, hey, it's Pride Week.
He's a good dude. Did y'all get to meet Christian? Yeah. He's great. Yeah, it was a shame to see him and then see him go, but again, it is supernatural. So.
You know, it was like the first time that I actually got to work with him was the season finale. Like all year, we were ships in the night. Like he would work and we were off, and then, I'd come in and work and he wasn't working. So like we never really got to spend some time together. And I really enjoyed not only his company, but his talent. He's great.
We're like, he's amazing. And now we're getting rid of him.
Yeah.
He sings. That's right.
Of course he does.
What doesn't he do with this guy?
What else can't he do?
All right, let's get to some questions. I see your hand first, kiddo.
If Demon...
There we go. Although you got
Actually, you have an amazing voice.
That was nice.
Welcome to Myra. If Demon D and Zola Sam were in an episode together and they had a battle of sarcasm, who would win?
A battle of sarcasm. I think Demon Dean would actually win that one. I think Soulless Sam would be a little confused by sarcasm and a little bit like...
If Soulless Sam wasn't much of a humorous character.
What was the one where you're like, you vanish and you said something like, that's the episode, but there was a line where you're like, you can't, you didn't look for me? I'm like, I did. And you're like, you can't go like lay in bed with a girl. I was like, well, the lights could be off. Like Sam just did, Soulless Sam just didn't understand totally. It was all about math.
Yeah, so a battle of sarcasm. I think Demon Dean's got that one for sure.
Yeah, thanks, bud.
Yes, sir.
This is for Jensen.
Yep.
We know that. I'm sorry.
Get this man of water.
This man of whiskey.
You know, Mark slept with your wife this season, and the question that I had is.
What's that?
The question I really have is.
Yes.
If Joe would come back pregnant with Lucifer's kid. What would that do to you mentally?
You're on your own, bud.
I'm not sure I like where this is going.
Seeing your wife pregnant again, knowing that you didn't cause it.
Hey, fine by me, as long as it's not mine. Honey, I want another kid. Not with me, you don't.
That is a conversation Genevieve and I have had. She's like, well, maybe we can have another. I'm like, have fun.
Yeah.
I'd like to shake
Can I
hands.
help you pick the guy? And to clarify, Mark didn't sleep with my wife. Lucifer slept with Joe.
Did they?
I don't know. Oh, you mean did Mark sleep with my wife?
No, did Lucifer?
I don't know. Because, oddly enough, I was in Austin taking care of the children while she was in Vancouver working with Mark. She very well could have slept with him. I don't have cameras in my apartment.
I'm not even sure if Lucifer slept with Joe. I think it was that weird demon blood, angel blood.
It was, yeah. I'm not
ritualistic.
I mean, look, we could
tease about all day long.
we could get into the details, but I think we'd probably cross over. But yeah. However, what would that? Like we have a Nephilim, which is demon human, but what would it call?
An angel.
Demon.
Oh God.
Archangel angel.
Is that in the canon yet? What is an archangel?
What's an archangel angel? Just an angel.
Maybe archangel angel. That sounds pretty good.
Just a baby angel.
Maybe Chris Angel.
It's Angel Plus. Maybe Chris Angel. Angel S. That's what it is. It's the sportier version of Angel.
What's the iPhone 10? Angel 10?
Angel X.
All right, let's do another one. Right over here. I don't know, whatever. Fight.
Hi. You guys drive a really hot car in the show. I was wondering what your personal cars are.
You said cars. Interesting.
Well, each one of you. What your
Oh,
car
God.
is.
My day-to-day that I drive the most is a hybrid SUV, which I love. You can throw kids in, you can throw dogs in, you can throw luggage in.
And it sounds amazing when you rev the engine at the stoplight.
Sounds amazing.
It sounds like this. It's hot.
My first ever car was a 69 Camaro that I still own, and it's getting restored. And I've had it since 6 Mustang. And
You have been restoring that since I've known you. And I've never seen it.
oh, really?
One of these days, this mythical car will show up, and it'll be glorious.
It'll be great.
I don't have a car. My wife has all the cars. And sometimes she lets me drive them. And that's actually not a word of a lie. I was working so much in Vancouver, don't necessarily need a car. In fact, I walk everywhere, so I took my wife's old car, which was a 2010 Range Rover that was a gift, or a wedding gift to each other. And I still have it. So it's like an old truck now. It's got a lot of dings and scratches on it. But she has the cars at home, and sometimes when she lets me drive it, I get to drive it. The only thing that I do own that has four wheels is a mule, one of those like off-road vehicles. I keep that at the brewery, and that's the only thing that I get in, and I get to call mine. So I guess at this point, my only car's an off-road mule. I guess I'm waiting for the show to end so I can drive the Impala home. All right, let's go over here. How about in the plaid? Because
Oh, hi. So this question's for Jensen. And in the later seasons especially, you've brought a lot more humor to the role of Dean. Like, he was kind of a major badass at first, and now he's a little more dad to him.
Funny looking?
Yeah, I was just curious about that character development there.
I had to make up for the age factor. I think that honestly, the writers started to write a little bit more to the humorous side of Dean. That was something that was kind of peppered in a little bit in the early seasons, but they had, Kripke really had a story to tell, and he wanted to keep everybody on track. And because we've been on for so long, we've been able to kind of explore different facets of both characters and most characters. And I think the humorous aspect of Dean was something that they started to write to in the later years, and which is fine by me because I enjoy doing it. But they'll always get Dean back to being a badass from time to time. So it's nice to have both. I hope you enjoy it, or you're like, listen, enough of the jokes, funny man. Can we just see you kick some ass? Because that's why I'm tuned in.
Go be cool again.
I get it, yeah. Could you be cool again?
I'm gonna go right here in the red plaid. Yes, with both hands. You got two hands. The one with two hands.
What did you think about your fight scene with Lucifer up in the air?
I can tell you what I thought about it doing it, and I can tell you what I thought about it when I watched it. Doing it, Mark and I spent 9 hours in harnesses, which, if anybody's ever been in one of those, knows that it's very, very uncomfortable, especially when they hoist you up, because all of your weight is...
Kibbles and bits?
Yeah. So it can be very, very uncomfortable, and we hung up there for quite a while. And they let us down and let us kind of breathe for a minute. But it wasn't just the weight and the uncomfortableness of the lifting. It was cinched so tight that it was like, I would imagine it would be what like women used to with the corsets and stuff, like where you can't really breathe because you had to be, just.
It's actually exactly that because you're not supposed to see it on the clothing.
Right, yeah. So it was very uncomfortable. The only time we loosened all the buckles and stuff was for lunch, which was only a half an hour, and then they were like, cinched them back up and hooked us up to the wires. So I would say that from a filming aspect, it's very difficult, it's very hard. Also, when doing the fighting choreography and not having your feet underneath you, because for those of you who know fighting, when you throw a punch, you're not just going like this. It all starts from your legs and your hips, and it's a full body motion. And we didn't have that ability because our feet are just dangling. So it was very awkward. And Mark is a trained fighter, and he's like, this feels so weird. I'm like, yeah. So I wasn't sure how it was going to look, and then when I saw it, I wasn't overly pleased with how it looked. I know that they cut around. There was a lot more that they didn't use, and I could tell why. It just looked awkward.
It was a little Twilight.
It was. I wouldn't say Twilight, but
Don't use that word in front of me.
thank you for making it worse. Yeah, I agree. I wasn't pleased, and I don't think we'll be doing that again. Okay, let's go over here with the first blade, yeah.
What is the biggest trait you'd say you share with your characters?
Say it
The
again.
biggest trait that we share with our characers. He's
Awesome
young,
hair.
his hearing is going quick.
Like personality trait.
The one off the top of my head is Jared, am a researcher. Like if I get into something or excited about something, he always makes fun of me. Like I still read the instruction booklets to iPhones and stuff like that. He's like, "What are you doing? Like, just figure it out. Just start using it. You know, you'll suss it out."
It's like the first thing I throw away.
Like, what are you doing? I want to read it. So I think I'm still kind of I want to learn all the nuts and bolts of something that I'm dealing with, no matter how kind of mundane it can seem.
My daughter had a birthday. I'm busy if you just want to take the message. My daughter had a birthday recently, and her gift that we gave her was this one of those electric Jeeps. You know, you can get in, you got the pedal, yeah, you get in it wherever. But it was like a little car, and they don't come assembled for some reason.
That's awful.
Right? Like, here's the battery, and here's 72 parts. And of course, I didn't read the instructions.
I did.
And it took me, honestly, it took me 3 hours in the garage putting it together. And I mean, look, I've got power drills, I've got power tools, so it doesn't matter. But I do remember at one point I was like, well, I guess I'll just dig into my bag of screws and find something that holds it together. When you start using things that don't come with the with the said toy,
It's that, and also when
but it works great.
It's that, and when it's put together,
And the
they're
roller
like
bar stayed on.
7 extra pieces. You're like, huh? I guess my son Tom, he's 6, and he's starting to use. I think one of the main ages for Legos is like the 7 to 10, and it's like, okay, well, he's a smart kid, and so we got him some like Ninjago Legos or something, and he was up in his room making them, and he runs down, he's like, "Daddy, I want to show you what I made." And I was like, "All right," and he's like, "Look, this is part of it." He shows me the little Lego man. I was like, "Cool," and I walk upstairs, and it looks really cool. It was like a little market with someone selling fruits and vegetables, and there was a police car, and he's like, "And those are just extra pieces." I look over, and it's nothing big, nothing like foundational. It was little decorative, this and that, but I was like, "You did good, kiddo. You did good." Those are just the extra pieces. Oh, I guess they didn't include the screw that's necessary.
Yeah. Oh, that's weird. They forgot 7 screws. Good thing I've got some.
It's even better when it's just nails and a hammer. It's like, oh, this needs to stay
Into
together.
plastic. Yeah. So I would say that's something I have in common with my character. One of many traits that I have in common with my character is no need for instruction manuals. I'll just force this square peg into the round hole.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Green hair. Yes. It's a quick hand and awesome hair.
So I met you guys in NOLA, and I asked the question about parenting and mental health. And this time I wanted to ask about your self-care. So this is my self-care.
Awesome.
I have 2 kids, and I don't know if you remember, my husband's 100% disabled Marine, and he loves you guys. And so I just want to know what your self-care is as parents and as advocates for mental health.
I'll go. When I'm home, I'm plugged in 100%, and it is not about me at all, and that gets tiring. And I don't know how my wife does it as much as she does, but I know that it is a taxing task. I would say honestly that what keeps me even keeled is that I have a lot of time by myself in Vancouver when I'm filming. So 9 months out of the year, I get to wake up and go, what do I want to do today? When I'm home, I don't get that luxury. So for me, that's what clears my head. That's what keeps me on an even keel is just that time alone, whatever it might be. Just literally being able to go, what do I want to do today? And I know that sounds very selfish, but I think sometimes you have to be selfish in order to take care of yourself. So.
Awesome. I think I have a lot of things. Some are more complicated than others, I suppose. But I find, this is weird, and I've kind of come to the realization lately, especially since I've had time not to film. And much like he says, like you're home, you're with the kids, you're waking up, poopy diapers, the kids want to chase a lizard.
And that's just him.
It's just me. That's before the kids
I
wake
figured.
up. And then the kids wake up. I found that I feel better as a person and I am a better person when I read. That sounds so random, but it's almost one of these things where if I sit down and am in a good enough headspace that I can read a book, even for 30 minutes, 40 minutes before bed, or when the kids are napping for 20 minutes, I find that it's kind of indicative of the rest of my world. Like I feel like I'm caught up on emails or texts or whatever it is. So try and get to the place where you can read and acknowledge that if you are sitting down and taking half an hour for yourself, you really are. But it's going to help. It's going to help you have a better worldview. And, the news. David Hayden Jones, he's a very bright guy, and he mentioned, I think a couple months ago we were filming, that he took like either a 1 month or 2 month news holiday and just stopped watching the news. And I think I'm going to do the same, because even when they're telling you what you want to hear, it's still so
noisy.
It's noisy, and one of the things that keeps me moving is my anxiety. So just even if you're hearing what you think you want to hear, it kind of still causes anxiety. So I think I'm going to opt to keep the news off and maybe keep a book nearby.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. It's me. I don't wanna. All right. Hi. Yeah.
Okay, so my dad loves to walk around the house and just yell Sammy all the time. And
Is there anyone in the house named Sammy?
Nope,
Great.
there's not. But I guess Sarah's close enough, so. So I was
That's
wondering.
amazing. I feel like you're walking around just going, Susan!
Yep. Basically, I hear it every day.
That's awesome.
Maybe twice a day if I'm lucky.
Billy, assault gun.
Okay, right, so.
So Jensen,
It's like Tourette's. Say it.
So Jensen, I was wondering if you could say that in a very moody Dean way to my dad.
In a very moody?
Is that dad right
Dean
there?
kind of way. Yep. That's my dad.
Way to go. That's a good dad that lets his daughter call him out.
Is this a yell? Is this like instead of an expletive?
Yeah.
Or like you stub your toe and you're like, Sam! Or is this just like making eggs and be like, Sammy! That's it? There you go.
Either way, I guess.
That was
That's it.
awesome. Thank you. That's one of the funniest things.
Sammy! just the salt.
I'm gonna go with Daphne. Yeah. That's awesome. Jesus!
Oh, damn. Okay.
I just heard oh damn.
Oh yeah, hot potato.
What
Hi.
was your initial reaction, like, when you first watched the Scooby Natural episode after making it?
So the first time I saw, I think the first time we both saw it was at Mann's Chinese Theater.
Yeah.
There have been a few, we have a few moments on set that are private, he and I and Misha, or whomever it is, where we kind of sit back and we'll be like, this is pretty cool, man. Like, this is pretty cool. And then it's kind of like, all right, back on the clock. You know, we kind of, you'll sit down and take a break and be like, man, I'm in the NBA Finals. Oh shit, timeout's over. You know, like, you got to get back at it. So there aren't a whole lot of moments like that I really let myself experience outside of set. Not that it happens all the time on set either. But going to Mann's Chinese Theater and having this big hoopla about what was great is it didn't feel like it felt like it was glorifying and celebrating a collaboration. Not like, hey, Jared is here and Jensen is here. It's more like, what a neat world we live in where we've gone for 13 years and we get to do a Scooby-Doo episode based on a show that we've done. I'm animated and we're like here next to the Mystery Machine and we're about to walk in and the Oscars were here last week and now it's us on stage like talking about Scooby-Doo. You know, it was really cool. I grew up watching Scooby-Doo. So it was a really surreal experience. And then the audience was filled with people. I don't know how you got tickets with you. It was like a lottery or whatever it was. But they had...
I think they paid people to be there.
Is that why they debited the money from it?
Yeah.
No, but there was a row off to the side, it was like 4 rows back, and there were like 8 empty seats that they left empty for us, and no one knew, and so they started the show, and then they all the lights are dim, and they usher us in near a door, and so we're sort of like, we sit down, and the people are watching Scooby-Doo, and like, it's like, ah! It's like me and Jen and Jensen and Daniil and Misha, and it was a pretty singular experience.
I remember at one point Misha leaned over to me and he had that like kid face on that he gets when he gets super excited about something, and he like grabbed my arm and he's like, "This is amazing!" And like the joy in his face, like just it told it all. And yeah, it was pretty cool. We were all very tickled that came together the way it did, and apparently they want to do more. I'm not promising anything, I just know that it got such a good response and it was received so well that I know that is a conversation that is being had. Whether or not something happens, I'm not sure, but it wasn't like, well, that flopped.
Bombed.
No, everybody that needed to be pleased was very pleased, and so, yeah, we'll see. How about over here with the guitar case? Is there even a guitar in there, and you just walk around with a case because it's awesome?
Or it's like Antonio Banderas, it's just a shotgun.
I've actually spent 1980s rock star in my own head.
Nice.
Hey, hello again. When you guys are actually too quick, I could pick your brain for, all night with beers and hanging out and playing guitar. And
Sounds good. See y'all later.
All right. It's like we got our night planned.
Hey, actually, both of you. I know both of you like music, and I love your. Like when I'm googling, I'll be like, bring up like Dean's soundtrack or Jared's, what you guys listen to and your show stuff and all that, and I love it. And that's what I listen to a lot when I'm cruising around in my '86 third generation Trans Am. Going,
nice.
I love
Does it have the bird on the hood?
Of course.
Yes.
6.7 liter?
5.7.
5.7?
5.7 GT. Yeah, you gotta love it.
350? Cool.
Yeah, right.
I could probably pick your brain all night.
Yeah, I wish.
Awesome.
But did it ever, how can you even ask a question that you haven't heard in 14 seasons? You know what I mean? It's so difficult.
It happens every time, honestly.
Yeah, every single time.
I never thought about that. Yeah.
Well, did it bother you at all, like, when the animated series came out, they were kind of like, with the mouth, and nothing matched up with the way when you were speaking and the animation was going, and you're just sitting there going, man, is he talking with the thing, or just going, with the open mouth and the closed mouth? And
yeah, that's one of the weird, so I did the voice of Sam, but he didn't do the voice of Dean. I don't remember why.
I think I did one episode.
Yeah. But that's one of the weird, when they pre-animate something, it's usually done in a foreign language. And so it makes sense if it's in French or if it's in Japanese, as it was in the case of the Supernatural anime. But then when they try and translate it to English, it's really chunky and it doesn't translate perfectly. If I were to say in English, hey, what are you doing? You want to go to the store with me? Then in Japanese it would read like, hey, I am store. Would you go with me? That doesn't make any sense.
Or
stuff it in.
they have one word where we need 4 words.
Yeah.
Like, hey, do you want to go to the store with me? And then they're just like, ding dong.
Yeah.
And then that's it. So that's not
Cantonese.
yeah. So that's not going to match up, and I think that's an issue. Is that? That's well. Is that right? Is there anybody speak Japanese in here?
Yeah, so
I'm pretty sure I nailed it.
But I think you hit it on the nose. It's frustrating, and it's flustering because you're trying to do a good job, and you're trying to stay true to your character, but it's also the people who translate it are not the writers. Like, it wasn't Eric Kripke translating.
This is why I didn't do it.
I know. I didn't know that yet. He had experience.
I was like, I'm not doing that.
I was like, sweet.
It would even.
It was fun. It was so fun.
It would even be difficult. So like with Scooby and with most animation, the vocals are recorded first, and then it's animated to the voice. When the animation is done and you're trying to sync up your voice to the animation, even if the characters, even if the animation was done in English, it would still be difficult to sync up your performance with what they've already I guess chosen. And so that's very difficult.
I mean, honestly, it's difficult to do ADR. You know what ADR is? That's when Sam is saying something to Dean, but there's something
A train in the background,
and I have to
ruins
talk
the
over
audio.
And even though I'm Jared Padalecki, watching Jared Padalecki play Sam Winchester the way I just did, even having to sync up to myself and live motion is difficult. So to try and take it across the ocean, and it's already pre-animated. It's a doozy. At least for me, it is. It gives me more respect for the people who dub things in foreign languages, because that can't be easy. Yeah, it was a lot of fun. Yeah, some of them were scary too. I went back and watched it, and I was like, man, this is kind of a scary show.
Oh, definitely.
Thanks, brother.
Man. Thanks, bro.
On that note, we should animate our way right out of here.
All right. We're not going anywhere. Beers.
You'll be, yeah. Here's music. All right, guys. Thank you.
Thank y'all so much.
We're super stoked to be here. We'll be there. See you later.